Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm gonna show you the 10 best JRPGs published by Sega, in my opinion of course, not to be confused with JRPGs released on Sega consoles, just on any console whatsoever as long as they were published by Sega. And as usual, like always, forevermore, no only in Japan games. Alright, let's begin! Number 10, Skies of Arcadia. Skies of Arcadia was released on the Dreamcast and then ported to the GameCube as Legends. You follow Vice and Aika from a pirate group to stop the Valuan Empire from reviving some ancient weapons called the Moon Crystals. This is a game with two battle systems played in turns. You've got your regular combat met through random encounters, and characters bound by an action points bar, most likely spirit and magic points. The other system is played similarly, although characters control a different part of the ship, engaging other enemy ships. While Skies of Arcadia isn't exactly open world, it is drawn by exploration with players charting the whole map of the world. Great game, one that could easily benefit from a good remaster on modern platforms. Number 9, Phantasy Star Portable. So there's 4 games in the Phantasy Star Universe saga, so if I had to choose just one, it had to be Portable, as I think it's the best of them all. Yes, you kinda do need to play the other two on the PS2 to understand this, as it is a direct sequel. The good thing is though, that it focuses on another conflict with a mix between new characters and the guys from the previous games. As you can tell, it's an action RPG with party members. You'll traverse dungeons and large open areas until eventually fighting a boss. There's planetary traveling all around the world, different species, and your customizable character. Unlike the previous games, the AI of your allies here is more intelligent and more responsive. The dungeons are more moderate and the controls just feel better. I'd like to say the entire Universe saga takes this spot, but there was no room for all 4 of them, so Portable 1 wins. Number 8, Valkyria Revolution. The spin-off from the tactical RPG series developed by Sega and Mediavision, the creators of Wild Arms. You follow Amleth and his 4 childhood friends in a quest for revenge against the Empire, while commanding a unit specialized to fight the powerful Valkyria. This is an action RPG with some awkward battle mechanics. It's easy for the most part, but some of the bosses can be quite challenging. You can control any character you want, but they can all use physical, ranged, or magic attacks. The graphics are gorgeous here and the music by Yasunori Mitsuda is beautiful. It is strongly recommended to play this game for its story. I think it's quite unique and rare to find dark and tragic plots that easily remind me of the PS1 era in JRPGs. It's not for everyone, I know, and in fact, I might be one of the very few people who actually likes it. Number 7, Shining Force 2. Shining Force 2 is a grid-based strategy RPG and one of the earliest in the history of this subgenre. You control a group of apprentices that are sent to investigate the king's sudden illness. Soon they find out the jewels sealing the Demon King have been stolen, and so starts their journey of getting them back. Unlike its predecessor, it takes place in the same universe but with different characters and plot. It also has free roaming exploration on the world at the player's pace, but with random encounters here and there. Combat is just as good, in fact it's been slightly improved to play better and load faster. The music was superior as well, but it still lacks some personality the first one had. Overall, it's an all-time classic, easy to get into, found in a lot of Sega Genesis collections out there. Number 6, Shining Force, the first one. The original game on the Genesis that started it all. It's an important piece of history in strategy RPGs as one of the pioneers. The evil commander of Runefaust is trying to resurrect the Dark Dragon, so Max and his friends called the Shining Force are sent to stop him. It's a pretty basic but also charming story that always gets to the point quickly. Combat in this game was designed to compete against Fire Emblem, which was already huge in Japan. Producer and designer Hiroyuki Takahashi thought they were too hard and serious, so he came up with an alternative for tactical RPGs, a friendlier approach to the genre with a more traditional style type of story, and therefore the legendary Shining Force was born. Don't forget this game got 2 direct sequels on the Game Gear and Sega CD known as Shining Force Gaiden. I recommend them as well. Number 5. Sakura Wars. The 6th main installment in the long-running series by Sega and Red Entertainment, except the latter didn't participate this time on this game's development. It's considered as a soft reboot of the series, although it still follows the history and events told in the previous games. Seijiro is made captain of the Imperial Combat Review, which is also a theater group by the way, in charge of protecting Tokyo against demons, fighting with their mechs. This is a cross-genre video game like all the others in the franchise. They mix visual novel elements with tons of decision-making that mainly affect the character relationships and bonds. It's still a harem with dating simulation, which is technically the main core of every game in this series. Some puzzles and minigames are also there to keep the gameplay interactive. However, it's no longer a strategy RPG like the others. It's now an action RPG with strong hack-and-slash characteristics. You'll control Seijiro for the most part, although you can switch at any time to your current ally or allies. Combat is great here, very responsive and satisfactory. The hit detection is amazing. Overall, this is a great game, even if the story and characters can often feel very stereotyped sometimes. Number 4. Sakura Wars So Long My Love. I'm cheating here, as you can see the North American version was published by NIS of America, so by default it shouldn't be here in this list, but it's a long time running series owned and co-developed by Sega. Plus all games, including the Japanese version of this one, have been published in Japan by Sega. So yeah, thank you NIS of America, but I still think of this as a Sega RPG. Anyway, I'm ranking this higher than the previous game simply because it has better story and characters, less cliches and tropes for so to say, and more personality. This was the very first Sakura Wars game ever to be localized, and the other was the second. However, this one follows a young Shinjiro Taiga dispatched to the Combat Review of New York, also to fight the demon invasions. Decisions, puzzles, minigames, dating simulation, harem, yep, all the traits of any other Sakura Wars game. Except this one is the last one with strategic combat and 2 battle systems that are different between boss fights. Anyway, big fan of this game, but you already know that. Number 3. Valkyria Chronicles 4. It is the latest entry in this popular tactical series and also a masterpiece. Once again, Mediavision jumped into the development to continue the story of the fictional World War II. Claude and his childhood friends joined the Federation Army to fight in this war, except he's made commander of a squad unit. Story takes place during and after the events of the first Valkyria Chronicles, but obviously from another point of view. And while it's less mature than before, it still goes deep and emotional whenever it needs to. The genius creativity of the map design is back. Often each mission feels different with weather and terrain to take into consideration, large, cleverly designed areas laying wait for your several class characters. This time, most of them having a personality, development, and some side quests involving them. This underrated RPG did not disappoint me at all. It surpassed my expectations, and I'm so glad to call it one of the best JRPGs published by Sega so far. Number 2. Phantasy Star 4. Of course the end of the millennium will be ranked so high on the list. It's the perfect evolution of the series, the epitome of the franchise. All games take place in the same universe, but you don't need to play them to understand this. Directed by a legendary Rieko Kodama, it's a story taking place 1,000 years between Phantasy Star 2 and 3. The planet Motavia is suffering from an ecological crisis. That's what Hunter Chas learns after a mysterious creature outbreak. The systems controlling the biosphere of the planet are failing, and it all seems connected to a cult leader called Zio. So Chas and the others will attempt to stop it in order to restore the planet and the galaxy. Excellent music, great visuals, clever dungeon design, amazing battle system. Phantasy Star 4 is one of the best 16-bit JRPGs of all time. Number 1. Virtual High Life. Yeah, I'm running out of jokes. Number 1. Valkyria Chronicles. The Imperial Alliance is at war with the Atlantic Federation, which sparks the events of the fictional World War II. But instead of petroleum like in real life, there's Ragnite ore abundantly in Gallia, so the Empire decides to invade. To stop this, Welkin and Alicia will be tasked to join the army, with Welkin commanding Squad 7. But like every other game in the series, events will be intrinsically connected to a powerful ancient Valkyria. I'm not sure if this game could be called revolutionary, because it took inspiration from the XCOM series, but it did it so well, it became a brilliant video game, a masterpiece that's already become timeless for 12 years, recently remastered 5 years ago. Its gameplay is superb, with excellent controls, camera, setting, and interface. Mission objectives galore, every map being completely different than the other. This game is genius, pure genius. Play any version you can, it's definitely the best Sega RPG ever made, in my opinion. Honorable mentions? Well, how about Yakuza Like a Dragon? Or Valkyria Chronicles 2? Or Phantasy Star 2? Or maybe Panzer Dragoon Saga or Shining Force 3? These two games are crazy expensive, man, so yeah. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!